I am the former vice chairman, but I'm telling you folks, we don't need a title to do what's right. I started working in politics in 1987. And by the way, my history was a little outdated. I moved out of District 125 in 2016. And of course, I have 12 grandchildren now. And I have 2 sons-in-laws and 1 daughter-in-law. And all of my kids are voting Republican. Yay! And I know that because I can check their voting record. As a mother, I'm telling you ladies, we have so much power to influence. It's the women who form society. We raise our children. We teach them right from wrong. We tell them what a great country we live in and how great our God is. We form society. And if something's wrong with society, we aren't doing our jobs. We also need to be sure that we have right people in education, because that is a very huge problem and a contributor to what is going on right now. But we live in the greatest country on the face of this earth. There is no equal to America. See, my parents came from Monterrey, Mexico, and they came to America legally. I was the first child born here out of 8 children, and I am so grateful to them that they came to America. My father told me in this country there is so much opportunity, and he's right. There is a lot of opportunity. That word is very important to me. It's a very strong word to me because it is so true, and it corresponds with the party that we belong to. The Republican Party is the party of opportunity. GOP stands for Greater Opportunity Party. Now I'm going to talk to y'all about that. So we are hoping for a huge victory in 2020. That's this year, folks. This has been a year like no other. We can all agree on that. Whoops, turn it on. Attitude is everything. We need to pick a good one. No matter what is going on, we are not defeated. They want us to think that, but it isn't true, folks. We cannot give in to them. Am I speaking too close?
No, just right.
Oh. Anyway, attitude is everything. We get discouraged, and that's very, very normal, but we cannot stay there. We move on. How many times do we plan, we strategize, we form committees, we come together, and we know what we're going to do. We set goals, right? And then this is what really happens. Life is not fair, and it doesn't work. It just doesn't always work out the way we hope. We try, and there's nothing wrong with that. But we have to smooth out the curves. We continue. We do not let that discourage us. You miss all the shots you don't take. Years ago, I used to have a conversation with a man who thought exactly like I did. I'm very conservative, socially and fiscally. And this man thought just like me, but he voted Democrat. I talked to him, and he couldn't stand me. He called me a dumb Mexican. He told me I had sold out. He told me I was an idiot, that I was being used, and I just, no, not true, not true, not true. But anyway, I continued to be tactful and polite to the man, and I told him where to find information about both parties, which was really the Republican website and the Democrat website. Our platforms are there. Well, 2 years later, I get a phone call from this man, and he says, Alma, you were right. And I didn't know what he was talking about because I hadn't heard from him in a long time. And I said, I was right about what? He said, everything you told me was correct. And he said, I studied it to prove you wrong, and instead you turned me around. And he said, I'm voting Republican, and I'm talking to my entire family. He says, we're going to bring them around. And I'm telling you, I have so many stories I can tell you about this, but we only have so much time here. The difference between the impossible and the possible is determination. In Bexar County, I was asked to recruit precinct chairman in 2014. And that was because out of 734 precincts, we had about 180 filled. That's pretty bad. So So I got busy, and I was determined to fill as many as I could. Within 2 years, we had increased that number 200 plus. And it was because I was determined. I'm not special. I was just determined to do it. How did I do it? I attended a lot of meetings. I sat in the back. I watched the crowd. I observed. I was a recruiter. And people who asked the important questions, the sensible questions, I would approach them after the meetings. And I'd ask them, have you ever considered becoming a precinct chairman? No, I don't know what that is. And anyway, I engaged them in conversation, and I was determined to win them over. I didn't win all of them over, but I made a difference. It was myself and the little team that I had to recruit. And it took sacrifice, it took time, and it took effort. Effort is a big word. Without it, we get nowhere, folks. Just be determined to do the best you can do. We need to grow this party. RPT has been very busy building up the party's infrastructure. All of these points, I don't know whether y'all can read them. Recruiting volunteers, registering voters, organizing events, and assisting our auxiliaries. We are laying the groundwork for a huge victory in 2020. I am no longer the vice chairman, but this is a slide I was using. And there's so much more I could tell you, but I have not been in the Austin office for months now. And by the way, I have been asked by the new chairman to head up the engagement committee, which is the same committee I was chairing when I was vice chairman. So I'm really going to be doing the same work without a title. And that's okay with me, because I don't need a title. None of us need a title. Each of us has something to contribute, each of us. And together we form the party, and each of us is important. There is so much to do out there, folks. Texas GOP. I took a tour along the border counties in January of 2019. Started out in El Paso. It was a 7-day tour, visiting with county chairmen and young Republicans. And in El Paso, a young man who was a young Republican said to me, Mrs. Jackson, I'm a Republican, but that grand old party, what does that mean? He had a point. Do y'all agree? It was good when it was used. And if you like it, that's fine. Keep using it. We are the grand old party. But it bothered me because I had to agree with him. That is very outdated. So I challenged him and I said, why don't you young Republicans have a contest and see who can come up with a better motto? Well, I never heard from them again, but all the way home, 7 days of traveling from El Paso and all along the border counties, I couldn't get that out of my mind. And finally, we were in Corpus Christi on our way home, and we're sitting in a restaurant, myself, Karen Marshall, and a few other young Republicans. And I kept thinking, we are the greater party, but what could that O be for? And Karen Marshall pops up, how about opportunity? That's it, Greater Opportunity Party. Well, it took hold. And Dr. Robin Armstrong, who is the Republican Party state committeeman, he goes to national. He talked to me about this and he said, Alma, that's a great idea. We ought to make this go national. He said it could if it would just take off. I said, I wish it would. Let's push it. Well, he paid someone to develop and to design this logo for us, and we are using it. I've seen it on decals on the back of a pickup truck. Some of our push cards have got this logo on it. You're welcome to use it. If you want it, I have it where I can email it to you and you can print a material. I've seen cups with that logo on it. And again, we mean no disrespect to Grand Old Party, but young people really resonate. They see this, they see a value and opportunity. And it reminds me of my childhood when my father told me that in this country, there is so much opportunity. Very true. Greater opportunity for all. I have said over and over and over again, we would win people over if we would just talk up our platform. Our platform is great. Every one of these points in here I pulled out of our platform. There's so many more I could have used, but I just pulled these out. Free enterprise, we're the country of capitalism. Capitalism works. It's the best system in the world for success. All you do is create, anyone can start a business. A product or a service, you market it, you work it up, and you put it to use. You can become filthy rich, or you can have just as little as you need to get by. It's entirely up to you. This is a free country. That's why it's so important that we keep it that way. Excuse me. Healthcare choices. We have the best system, and we need to fight the one healthcare system fits all, because it just doesn't fit all, folks. We are the party of opportunity. We have the opportunity to choose what fits our budget or what we need. Freedom of religion. The beginning of this country came about because folks were looking for freedom of religion. And if you don't believe in God, I'm sorry for you, but I'm telling you, this nation would not exist had it not been for God and the prayers of our forefathers. And you know, when we have this freedom of religion, it opens up an opportunity of gratitude for this country. I'm telling you, there is no country like America. None whatsoever. Security. We need to feel free and secure in our own country. It's an opportunity for security. We must build the wall. That's another story. If I could tell you what I saw along the border in those 7 days, visiting those counties. Starr County was probably the worst. It's the most corrupt in Texas. I ought to write a book. I don't have time. Less regulation. We are against excessive regulation. Some is needed. It's important. We must have some. But less regulation that allows businesses to grow, to hire more employees, to give them raises. And they need to succeed on their own efforts. The government needs to butt out. What's the next one? Gun rights. Oh boy, do we ever need those now. Gun rights. You know, it's hard to find bullets right now. Ask my husband. We are the party for gun rights. And I don't understand why elected officials who are so much against gun rights have so much security. How hypocritical is that, folks? It's an opportunity to feel safe within our own person. You never know who you're going to run up against. And I'm very adamant about the gun rights. I've had to use my gun for protection. Smaller government, that's a given. We do not need the government to tell us how to live, what to do, what we can buy, where our children need to go to school. But out. We want less government. We are supposed to be the, what would you call us? The boss of government?
Yeah, right.
It's the other way around right now. They are supposed to hear us and do our will. That's why we elect them. Lower taxes, that's a given. It's an opportunity to keep more of what you own. And that's very important. Sometimes we're funding things that are so ridiculous. It's just unbelievable. Okay, personal responsibility. That's one of my favorites. Because listen, if folks took care of their own, if we took care of our own children, financially supported them, and morally teaching them right from wrong, we would not need as many social programs to come in and take the place of parents. That's wrong. But we're not promoting personal responsibility. The Republican Party embraces it. If we were all responsible for our own, what a different country this would be. School choice. We are the party of choice. Again, opportunity for our children to get the best education possible at the school of our choice. Because that's what we want. We want success. We want our children well educated on truth and true history. Strong military. We can't be anything without a strong military, folks. We used to be very, very strong, and I believe we're up there again thanks to the president that we have. He has rebuilt what President Obama tore down. Yeah. Thank God for Donald Trump. Yeah. Defense of life, that should probably be at the top. Because if we cannot defend an innocent, unborn baby, how can we expect our children to respect life? We talk about school shootings, and just look at all the looting and the rioting and the disorder that's going on right now. Something's wrong, folks. It's like there's more crazies out there than good people. And there's such a difference between the two parties. We can win people over if we talk up our platform. It works. I've done that. Accentuate the positives. We were going this way before COVID. We had so much to be proud of and grateful for. We have a president that puts our country first, and it's about time we had a president that did that. I wish every governor across this country did that. America first. And we're not cold-hearted, folks. America is the most generous country on the face of this earth. Anytime there's a catastrophe, we are the first ones to help. That's what we are. But it's that spirit of being an American where we unite and we help each other. That is so important. We need to get it back. Accentuate the positives. There's a lot of negative out there, and I really believe with my whole heart that we're going to get back up there, folks. You just wait. After this election over, I don't know how much of this COVID is going to continue. They think we're dumb. Now, which of these columns reflects your values? There's one on the left and one on the right. And I have used this with pastors. Many pastors do not even know that parties have platforms. And I have spoken to many, many pastors asking if I can come in just to speak on the importance of voting. Because if we could get Christians to vote, we would win every election out there. Wake them up, folks. Well, when I turn the card around, they're shocked. Every time I have presented this to anyone, they always select the left side. And I did left and right on purpose, because we're really the right, right?
Yes.
This works. And again, it's our values. Everything on here comes out of our platform. Why do we not use it more? We have the greatest tool. The platform is great. And we defend it every 2 years at our convention. This last convention was unreal. I didn't even call it a convention. Getting informed to inform. We have opportunities everywhere to talk to people. I remember I recruited a precinct chairman at a grocery store one time. I was at HEB, and it was either Thanksgiving or Christmas, where the lines are very, very, very long.
Yeah.
And I was standing there with my cart, and my mind was just going, what else? What did I forget? What am I doing? You know, just thinking. And I hear two women kind of arguing. Their voices they were raised. And when I heard, it's those damn Republicans. Yep. I turned around and I started listening to the conversation. Two women arguing. The Democrat left, and the one that was taken up for the Republican Party, I started talking to her. And before I knew it, she became a precinct chairman. I started talking to her, and she said that her husband was stationed here. They were a military family, and she became a precinct chairman in Bexar County, and she was with us for a few years until he was stationed somewhere else. But I'm telling you, there's opportunity everywhere. But getting informed to inform, you have the opportunity to talk up our party, to talk up issues. Everybody's talking about what's going on. Every single website on here is excellent. The very first one, promiseskept.com. You need to print that up. That is everything that our president has done since he's been elected. And he has done a lot of good. Even though they can point to, well, the economy's not as great, it's going to get back. If we reelect him, it's going to get back. If he doesn't get elected, it's going to go south real quick without any chance of coming back. I just don't believe that.
We'll go to war.
The second one, is that the Prager?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's not very clear. Prager University puts out short videos, folks. They're very short. Those don't help.
It's a screen.
Anyway, very, very good short videos. I don't think there's any that are longer than 5 minutes, but they have an excellent one on the Electoral College. And many young people do not know the purpose of the Electoral College. It's excellent. I've used it to train precinct chairmen. I've done a lot of that. And they're just so valuable, those little short clips. And if any of these other websites are excellent, you can, if you got on there 30 minutes a week and read up on some of this, you would be able to communicate with others and promote what we stand for and talk about current issues intelligently. You need to be informed to be able to bring people in. There's so much, there's just so much misinformation out there. I really despise the lie about our president saying that all Mexicans are rapists and murderers. That is a lie. That is not what that man said. And we need to correct it. I have done it every time someone throws that at me. That's not what he said. And a lot of them don't know what to say, because when you correct them or when you give them information, they tend to clam up because then they're not as brave. This works. Study. Get informed. Why we do what we do? Because our country was sacrificed for by the blood of many, many of our forefathers. Our first president, he lost battle after battle after battle, and he never gave up. We shouldn't either. We're not bloodied out there. We're not fighting with guns the way they did. And if they could do that and hand over this country to us, why can we not do a little more to ensure that we will win? By the way, in the 2018 midterm election, we had Texas had 8.3 million people who voted, but we had 7.5 who were registered to vote that did not vote.
Why?
They didn't bother to vote. We could have won if those had voted, and if they were Republican. We had 2.3 who were eligible to vote, but were not registered. They're either of age or they're legal citizens, but they didn't register. Now that figure's higher because we've had more who have turned 18, and every day Texas is getting new people in this state. New residents are moving in every single day. So the voter registration drives are great, but we also have to make sure that they get to the polls. That is very important. We have our work cut out for us, ladies and gentlemen. We get involved for our children. My children are grown. They're all self-sufficient, and I thank God for that. But my grandchildren are very important to me. And I love all children. I operated a daycare center. I love children. I could have probably had 12 kids, but Chris said I was crazy. Why we get involved? Our military, all the sacrifices that have been made, and the families of these military members. That's an old picture from the Iraq War. That young man's probably 25 by now, but that's a very touching picture. Now this is a picture of, I believe it's 18 or 19 ladies in Saudi Arabia who have just graduated from medical school. And look at the way they are forced to dress.
You can't see who they are.
Ladies, I value our freedoms. I'm so grateful we are not in Saudi Arabia. The words on that wall, hambre, that means hunger in Spanish. And guess where that is? Venezuela.
And they were.
And there's their banner, no más socialismo, no more socialism. They had it. They were duped into thinking it was the greatest thing. And we have a lot thinking that now. I was talking to a group of college Republicans in San Antonio, and one young man kept talking about how great socialism was.
Oh no.
And I said, "What? You're a Republican?" Anyway, I said, "Well, what do you think of Venezuela?" And he said to me, "What's Venezuela?"
Yeah, they don't
See,
get
they
geography.
don't know. They're not all misinformed, but there's too many of them because we aren't teaching what we should be teaching in our public institutions. And did you know that Venezuela was once ranked,
Yeah.
what is that, 14th?
Yeah, they
Fourth.
had
Excuse
a
me,
very
I
valuable
can't.
country.
It's very blurry.
Good money, good place to
But
go.
anyway, you get the point. Venezuela was way up there, oil producer, a very prosperous nation. And then that, what was his name, Hector, was it Hector? He was the owner, or he ran Chevron. Hugo Chavez. He took over, and he ran it to the ground. Talk about how gross it was, how horrible it was to be rich. Well, his daughter took off with $3 billion from the Venezuela treasury once he passed away. Very gross, huh? People are standing in lines. They're starving. We cannot let this country go that way. It's going to take a lot of effort, ladies, and I'm so proud of all of you because you women, again, we have so much power to influence. You gentlemen do too, but the women, they're on fire for what we believe and what we love and what we appreciate. There's so much to do, and ladies, we must do it. We cannot let them win. So when you feel like quitting, and many of us have done that, just remember why you started in the first place. This country is worth saving, and we're not going to save it if we don't save Texas. So I admonish each one of you to stay away from discouragement. It comes, it's natural, but don't stay there. There's too much to lose. We will not recognize this country within a few months if we let Harris take it over. It's not Biden-Harris, it's Harris-Biden.
Yeah,
I've heard that several times.
She had said that on TV.
Both of those folks are dangerous. And you know how they like to tell us that Republicans are rich old white men? I was watching Fox News last night. You know how many rich old white men are supporting Joe Biden?
And he is.
Lots of them. Soros. We have Bill de Blasio, Bloomberg, Bill Gates. One was, I can't remember, but he ran for president. Last name starts with an H.
I've seen Tom Steyer.
Oh, it's Tom Steyer. I was thinking of Boyer, but it's Steyer. Thank you for that. And there are so many more that we don't know of. But we have to get past all these myths that the Republican Party is for the rich. I am not rich, and I'm sure most of you in here are not either. But I am very grateful for what I have, and from where I came from, and what I am now. And I'm not special at all. It's just that in this country, you will succeed if you put forth some effort. This is the greatest country on the face of this earth. And I'm asking each of you, imploring you to stay busy and continue to do what you're doing. And if you can step up and do a little more, we need to bring more people in. We need to tell them what our party stands for. Our platform offers opportunity. We do not guarantee an equal outcome. That depends on what you do. But again, personal responsibility. And I thank each of you. Thank you for having me here. And you will continue to see me. I am no longer the vice chairman, but I have been asked to chair the engagement committee for the state of Texas, and that is the committee that I chaired when I was vice chairman. So I'm sort of still at work. I will be around, and I will be visiting the border counties again because they need a lot of help, and let me tell you, the Hispanics are waking up. And so are our black brothers and sisters. How many of you have seen Leo Terrell on Fox News? Whoa, that is big. He's a civil rights attorney. Oh, he hated Republicans, and you ought to hear him now. He's so proud of his MAGA hat on Fox News. We are making a difference, folks. And to tell you the truth, the Democrats are pretty much helping us out. Who ever heard of a country without a police force? That is ridiculous. Even Leo agreed with that. So I thank God for each one of you. Continue your work, and I'm sure we'll see each other again. Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
This is the reason why I'm voting Republican for the first time. What you just saw last night with Rand Paul and Vernon Jones, it doesn't make a difference what your skin color is. These are thugs out there attacking law-abiding citizens. And you know what? The Democrats now are lying, saying that, oh, we're in favor of law and order. They have let cities burn for 4 to 5 months, and President Trump has offered help, and they refuse. This is just outright shocking. And this form of allowing these criminals to run rampant in the streets without any recourse is going to haunt the Democrats, and that's why the polls are shifting, and that's why they're going to vote for the law and order president. I and other Democrats are going to vote for Trump because we want law and order. We want school choice. We want the good things that President Trump articulated in his acceptance speech. One last point. You didn't hear a single word about the Democratic programs and policies last week at their DNC convention. Why? Because it's pure socialism. It's a case of keeping our American values versus having our American values destroyed by these wicked, wicked, extreme Democrats.